Hello, I'm Professor Lieu. Welcome to our live stream. I'm joined today by a special guest artist, Lark Reece, who some of you guys have seen before. And today we are doing a Procreate draw along starring monkeys, gorillas, and more. If you would like to grow as an artist and you can't afford an art class, we've got everything you need here at Art Prof: critiques, tutorials, and professional development. Now, we would love it for you guys to draw along with us. You can use any media. Cian and I are going to be using Procreate, but you can draw anything you want. And we would love to see what you guys make. Post your stuff in the Art Prof Discord in the Draw Along channel. And if you guys want to get higher resolution images, so you don't have to draw off the YouTube screen, the link to the reference photos, it's in the video description below, and it's also in the news channel in the Art Prof Discord. All right, so Cian, are we going to start with these snow monkeys?
Yes, I think we have different monkeys up. Is that right?
We do. I have to switch to the snow monkeys.
You can do the monkeys. You can do your own monkeys.
No, I think it's more fun if we're drawing
doing
the
same monkeys.
Yes.
One big monkey family.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're doing today, you guys, obviously C and I, we're going to do our own thing, but we are going to be focusing on the interaction of the monkeys. So it's like groups of monkeys, not individual ones. And so obviously facial expressions and gestures are all going to be things that we talk about. So let's get going. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. I'm being the audience. So let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh gosh,
all
I
right.
have not drawn.
So
much.
how do you warm up? What's your warm up Procreate regimen?
I guess I don't have one.
Great. I don't usually draw straight into Procreate. So this will be fun.
Well, if you don't draw straight in Procreate, then what do you use it for?
Okay, well, Procreate has all these awesome recoloring tools. I usually draw with pencil and then like take a picture and then find it easier to like fix the image in Procreate. So I feel like I got really used to the coloring tools, but that's pretty much it. What do you use it for?
Tutorials here.
There you go. Well, we're both going to learn a lot today.
But wait a second. So what are some of the actions that you're doing? Like, do you erase? Do you change the color? Like, what are some of the edits?
Okay, so you know with like when you're painting and you've got like you want to highlight, and if you paint the highlight, sometimes it kind of mixes with the other painter. It's not completely opaque. Procreate, I think, is where I have the highlights and stuff like that. So I'll do the darkest darks and the lightest lights and go up, do a pass over with Procreate brushes. Makes it all sleek.
Oh, so like when you're trying to do like shading and lighting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So you don't usually draw in Procreate?
No, I don't.
Okay. So what do you do to warm up when you're on pencil and paper? Like, what's your normal?
I guess I just sit down and I do a bunch of quick gesture drawings.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that with monkeys.
Just something to get just to move my arm, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you just don't feel very sharp. You ever feel that way, that you're sort of half asleep when you're drawing?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I realized since graduation that I haven't drawn in my sketchbook as much because I didn't realize how much like my liberal classes, my like note-taking classes, that's when I did more of my drawing than my studios, honestly.
Are you kidding? You would just like doodle in class and that was it?
That was my sketchbook time. That was my sketchbook with no consequences time.
That's hilarious. So what did you draw during those classes?
I would actually, that's I think why that's why it was so inspiring, because we would usually be looking at like, you know, his illustration history. So I would be kind of like blind contouring from the lectures. So I would be basically doing master studies by accident. And now I don't draw my sketchbook anymore. I haven't in a while.
Oh, so do you have sketchbook guilt?
Yeah, I have sketchbook guilt. Yes, like, that's a great name for
I have sketchbook envy.
it.
Do you ever have that where like people like whip out this like beautiful sketchbook? It's like,
I
look at
know.
all the activity and
Um,
look at the brains. And I'm like, I suck.
okay. Yeah, sketchbook guilt and sketchbook envy. That's good vocab for it. I think uh, I think I really held that highly before art school, thinking like your sketchbook has to be like a museum piece. And
Yeah.
then I've realized it's much more fun if your sketchbook is like mine is just a mess. And it's not a mess in like an artsy way. It's like a mess like
What
no,
does
it's
an
like
artsy mess look like? Please explain.
an artsy mess, I'll tell you. It's like you have a post-it note in there, but you've drawn over the corner of it, so it's all like it's part of the composition now. You've written notes, but they're like haikus and they're really good. I don't have that. Do you have haikus
No.
in your sketchbook?
You
Okay,
guys
so
tell me in the chat
yeah,
how
write a
many
haiku in the chat.
have sketchbook guilt or sketchbook envy or both.
Yeah, I want to know if that's like universal or if that's a learned trait.
I think it's universal. It's just nobody wants to admit they have it.
That's true.
So,
All right.
Cian, where did you learn how to use Procreate?
I learned it from my friend who like loved Procreate and was telling me to get. I was using like a random other app, and it was fine, but it wasn't great. And they were saying you should get over to Procreate, and I'm stubborn, so I didn't. And then finally I did, and now I'm like total Procreate stan.
So, you must have like an iPad, right? And the pencil and
I
all that.
have. I don't have the pencil. I just have my iPad. I draw with my finger.
Wait, because you can't afford a pencil?
Uh, I actually prefer drawing with my finger.
What? You're such a weirdo. What's wrong with you?
Hey.
Why? Why would you have the ability to have a pencil but refuse it?
I tried. I also the same friend wanted me to get on the Apple Pencil, and I like it. I think it's an awesome tool, but I honestly just it was weird. It's like I can't see where I'm drawing. Or I can't feel it. I feel like when I'm drawing with my finger, I could do it with my eyes closed because you can feel where you're drawing. So
I
you use the pencil then?
Yes.
Okay, I'm here to tell anyone who doesn't that you can just draw with your finger. It's not a big deal. Don't listen to the Claras.
Oh, great. Actually, you guys in the chat, tell me how many of you don't have an Apple Pencil and so therefore draw with your finger, because I know they're expensive. Like they are not cheap.
They are not cheap, yeah. And they're worth it, I think, for certain kinds of work. But I just, I think for the drawing highlights and for whatever we're doing right now, no, I just like I like the Apple finger.
That is so funny. So we have some comments. Ashley is saying, I stopped showing people my sketchbook because it makes me nervous.
Oh no! Actually, sorry, I cut you off. I feel like not showing people your sketchbook. Isn't that kind of like? Couldn't that be good? It's like it's your private space. You get to like keep that protected and like a real, keep it private.
Yeah. I think so, because I think unfortunately now people, there's so much pressure to be on social media that a lot of people feel that whatever they make has to go on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you ever see that?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I feel that way too. It's like because Instagram thrives when you post content most often. So you feel tempted every single thing you draw has to go up there, but it's nice to have a place that's private. But I guess it's not nice if you're doing it because you're, nervous or embarrassed. I can definitely relate to that though.
Yeah, I don't know, like I was drawing my sister-in-law's dog the other day, and I was like, I'm not going to show these to anybody.
Yeah. Rebel against the art for algorithms thing.
Flower Demon is saying, I draw with my finger on my phone. I just have no money. And I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Ayunut? I probably mangled that. I don't even have an iPad. And Rachel says, I have an iPad. I'm currently using it. And Nora is saying, my sketchbook is half diary. Yeah, maybe that's why it
Yeah.
feels private. Do you think?
Because yeah, exactly. If you're writing your personal haikus in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wanted to say to the person from before who was nervous about the sketchbook. Oh, was it Ashley? Challenge yourself. Show someone your sketchbook. I don't know. I think that would be cool. Put it in the Discord.
Yes.
The whole sketchbook. But yeah, no, team drawing on the iPad with the finger. That should be a thing.
Okay, so now you have to explain yourself.
Oh,
Why
no.
is the finger better?
Okay, so I really think that I feel where the screen is more than I like want to take the time to look. And so I got really used to it because in high school we had the iPads for class, and then I just got really used to doodling on my iPad with my finger because we didn't have styluses.
Styluses. I don't know.
So once you get used to it, it's really hard to change to a different medium. So no, I feel like now when I do the pencil, I just feel like I can't see what I'm doing.
Really?
I can't feel what I'm doing. It's the feeling thing.
So it's sort of like at RISD where they tell you to feel the paper.
Yeah, they tell you to exactly kiss the paper before you start.
Exactly. Yeah, that does a lot for your artistic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it does. I just was never in a class where I was taught to feel the paper. So
I just realized this will be the first time I've illustrated in front of a professor where there won't be like a big crit at the end, unless you've got something special planned.
oh well, I'm gonna rip you to shreds.
Great.
That was the surprise.
Oh, that was the surprise. Great. Happy holidays. Do you have anything fun planned?
Let's see. It's pronounced Yonuts. I'm Romanian. Oh, thank you. I would never have figured that out on my own. So thank you for explaining that. And let's see. Shaim is saying, is having a bad tablet better than having no tablet? Have you ever worked on a tablet, Cian?
Like an iPad or like a Wacom tablet?
Like a Wacom, yeah.
I have for like I tried it for animation for a little bit, but kind of same thing. It's a little hard for me to like use the pen. So now I just take pictures of my traditional animation frames.
Oh, okay.
So I would say no, I don't really have that much experience with tablets.
I don't like the tablets. I mean, not like I've done it a lot, but I think what annoys me about it is there's just too much of a disconnect with what you're looking at, your hand, what your hand is doing. I find that hard.
And it's the kind of thing where I'm sure someone could get so good at it that that's better. They prefer that to traditional, but I think I've just used real paper so much that it's not a substitute for what I'm used to.
Right. It's like, I don't know. I think a lot of it's just what works for you. It's like not every digital program or tool is great for everybody.
Yeah, and I also want to say that I think that's true for every single medium. There's always the way that the masters of the past used it, and now there's you can invent your own combo between digital and paintbrush and stuff like that.
So you're doing all this background stuff. Now I feel a little bit that I didn't even do it. Why are you making such a bright background?
I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I'm doing this with very little like.
Is this just what you do, or are you just?
No, this is what I don't do. I don't draw in Procreate. So I'm trying to replicate what I do. I do this in colored pencils, so I guess it's similar. But usually I would do something with a value in the background just so I can carve out the figures a little bit better. You know, like push where I see the shapes, and then so it's a sculpting thing. But this is our warm up. So I will learn how to use Procreate in the next 10 minutes, and then we will do the real drawings after that.
Well, see, now I don't feel so ridiculous because whenever I'm on here with Jordan, I just feel so stupid because he's like, just do this. I'm like, I don't get it. Like,
it's the people who the Procreate people, the people who really know how to do this stuff. Oh, it's terrifying. No, we're in this together. This is the beginner's course.
Okay, great. I like that. That's making
I can show you a cool trick though. Do you want to try it?
Yeah, what?
All right, so you can always undo it. So I'm gonna look at all the layers that I have up here that I've drawn on. I'm gonna collapse them by. You can't see my fingers. So I'm pinching the two layers, and then I'm gonna squeeze them together like that, and then collapse them all into one layer.
Oh, but okay. So here's my question though.
Yeah.
Why did you even bother separating them to begin with? Wouldn't it have been easier to just draw on one layer?
It's because I might do something that I don't like, and then I can just quickly delete the most recent layer. But then once I'm I'm happy with how this is going. I'm not thrilled, but I'm, once I think I know kind of what I'm going to do, then I can collapse them all again. And the reason I do that is so that I can use the recoloring tool at the bottom here. And
wait, what's the recoloring tool? What's that?
All right.
Back up.
So when they're all in different layers, you can't recolor them at the same time. But if they're all in one layer, then you can recolor them. So on this menu here, the adjustments menu, it's the little magic wand. At the very bottom, it says recolor. Unless this is an out-of-date app. I don't know if that's true on the most recent ones, but I'm going to recolor.
And then what do you do?
I'm going to lighten everything. That's usually what I do. And now I'm just going to...
lightening everything?
I'm lightening everything so I can add the darks back in because I tend to draw with really dark, obnoxious lines. And once I lighten it all, now I can kind of come back in and do a tighter round.
Well, but why are you drawing such dark lines to begin with?
That one, I can't tell you. That's just how I do it. That's just, I like the big charcoal dark lines.
Is it sort of like the satisfaction of putting down a bold line?
It's exactly that. It's so satisfying.
Okay, so now you're going back in and adding more dark lines to punch up the contrast?
I'm adding more dark lines. I'm still finding the shapes, honestly. Since this is a warm-up, yeah.
Oh. So
I'll just do this
with this process. It's so specific.
That's my magic process. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh.
What's yours? I can't see what you're doing at the moment. I have a 1 minute ago version. What are you up to?
Trust me, it's nothing to write home about. I'm just messing around. Honestly, well, actually, here's one thing because I can only handle one thing at a time in Procreate. I am trying out a brush that is really huge because so this is a pretty big stroke that I just put down. Now I don't want a line that thick, but I'm going to do what Jordan told me to do, which was rely more on the physical pressure of the pencil to change the width of the line as opposed to manually changing it in Procreate.
Hey, no fair. I can't do that because I'm using my finger.
Well, whose fault is that?
It's apparently mine.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I'm going to try that because I feel like that might give me a little more flexibility. No.
I prefer to put down the thick line because I can't modulate the pressure. And then once it's down, then sculpt into it with other colors and recolor it like that. So shaping it basically.
Let's see. We have a comment. Oh dear, you told me how to pronounce your name and now I can't remember. Anyway, I'm sorry. They are asking, would you recommend getting an iPad if I have money saved up? What do you think, Cian?
I would recommend it. I know that's, it's a difficult choice to make because it is expensive. But I think that the iPad has been my number one tool for basically taking art that's in my sketchbook and turning it into art that I can deliver as the finished commission. Yeah.
So you use it for everything, right?
I use it for everything except for obviously the actual drawing part, basically.
Oh.
I use it for everything after the original drawing and the flat colors have been put down. Yep.
So if you were to say the percentage, what percentage of your time is in Procreate and what percentage is in traditional?
I would say 50-50 because finishing takes so long that time-wise, yeah, I do spend a lot of time like going into the fine details. But I also have tried the process with just traditional or just Procreate, and it's not the same. So I need it to be both.
Oh, so you never do just traditional or just Procreate. It's always a blend.
No, not for finished pieces. I think I actually always use a little bit of both.
Oh. See, it's so different. Like I totally do not mix them. It's like either Procreate
Really?
or traditional. Yeah.
Wait, which one do you prefer? What'd you say?
Oh, traditional. Are you kidding,
Yeah,
Cian?
yeah. Are you telling me you're not having a blast right now?
Well, I'm having fun, but only because I don't have to produce something amazing,
That's
right?
true. Yeah, I could never. I think it would take a lot of training. I'd have to take a class. No, I did take a class. It's still hard.
Well, so here's the thing, because like on a stream here, I'm not
Hmm.
like delivering something to like a gallery. It's like it's not. There's no pressure that it has to be incredible and professional quality.
Hmm. Yep. Actually, I think that's something about, the difference between school versus, art school versus freelance. It's that at school they really do care about your growth and your process and your the method you went about making a piece. And when you're in freelance, they don't care.
No,
They
nobody
do not
cares.
care how you got where you got what the product is. They just want the final 10%.
Yep, that's pretty much the way it goes. Oh, you guys, tell me in the chat, how many of you guys use digital with traditional? Because I'm
Hmm.
always interested to see how people do it. Because Kat Huang here at Art Prof, she's a teaching artist. She does pencil and India ink with a quill pen, and then she takes it into Photoshop and colors it. But your
Yeah.
process is not that straightforward, right?
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd say that I kind of came up with it just through trial and error, being like, oh, I need to add some highlights. What's the fastest way to do that? Just trying to get stuff done. And then it's stuck, basically.
Oh. So wait, when did you start using Procreate? Was that in college?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say like I've been using it for about a year now.
Oh, that's not very long. I thought you had been using it like since high school or something.
No, no, no. I didn't even have an iPad until just before I think freshman year.
Oh,
So this is
okay.
very out of my, you know, my wheelhouse.
Well, so okay, if you do a lot of traditional, what do you use for traditional?
I use mostly, so I'll start with like graphite of some sort and then go in with like watercolor to do a flat wash of basically the value structure. So that's what I'm trying to
Uh,
mimic here, but it's not quite, it's a little more angular. And then I don't know, I guess I touch up with colored pencil. That's where I get kind of the texture from. Uh, and the main thing that I do on Procreate that I don't think I could do traditionally is that I'll take my pictures into a picture of my art scan into
uh,
Procreate, and then I will flatten out a lot of the modeling that happens when you use a lot of water in watercolor.
oh,
So you know how it can kind of
oh,
get
that's
washed through a little
handy.
bit. Yeah, if you have like a dark color in watercolor, it tends to get really like, the dark is not a consistent, flat, even dark, and not the way I do it because I'm not patient with it. Um, so then I'll take
Oh,
it into Procreate and I'll take if I'm trying to paint something dark blue, I'll take the parts that didn't quite where the canvas shows through and I'll make sure that those are the same value.
that is really smart. How do you have all these like is this just you making it up as you go along?
Yep. You do what you learn how to do, and I guess that's what I spent my time learning how to do.
Well, I guess I don't know. I feel this way about stuff in general. It's just so much of it
Mhm.
is just trial and error.
Yep. I also think in school we kind of learned to not copy, I mean, for illustration specifically, to not copy from the reference picture so much. So it became more about like taking inspiration from the reference, but not necessarily copying it exactly.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that here.
Hmm. It's big because I think a lot of people they actually get out of their comfort zone uh, in a way where like they get too nervous to make deviations. And
Yeah. Let's see. Sophia has a question. What are your thoughts on using Samsung tablets to draw? Have you ever used those, Cian?
I don't think so.
Yeah, sorry, Sophia. I don't know anything about those. Maybe somebody in the chat could help you out because there are plenty of people here who probably have better experience.
Probably.
And Takeo is saying, I used to paint traditional drawings digitally using Clip Studio Paint, but now I do purely digital. And Seven Angelic says, I like doing what Cian does, doing the line work in traditional, using digital to mess with color after. You can try out lots of stuff without fear of messing up.
Yeah, and I like it because it means that most of my finished work started in my sketchbook, so it's not materially. I never get tongue-tied looking at like a very expensive canvas. It's all going to be going through the same process.
It does get painful, doesn't it? Like once you start stretching, really, it's like, oh my God, the surface cost me $200.
I know, and then oh man, and if the client doesn't want to pay for a backup if you mess up,
Oh no, they don't. I mean, they don't care. It does
they,
not
they
matter.
don't care about your problems.
I mean, do you know Kadir Nelson's illustrations?
I don't think so.
So you should check him out. He does a lot of illustrations for New Yorker, and so much editorial now is digital for good reason. It's just so much faster, it's easier, it's cleaner. But Kadir Nelson is like all the way oil painting. He's like modern day Norman Rockwell, and I have so much respect for that.
That's awesome. That is goals.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I feel like more often than I'll find myself trying to shift more towards traditional, so like weaning myself off of the Procreate process.
Right.
All right, someday we're gonna have to do like a traditional stream too.
Oh, for sure.
We can compare the two. Oh man, this is rough, Clara. This is rough.
This is the warm up, right?
Okay. All right, this is the warm up. All right.
Okay, let's do another one. Which
you want to do another monkey? Okay, take a good long look, everybody.
We need a color change scene. How about we do the three monkeys that are sort of bluish?
Yeah, is it these ones? These guys?
The one with the mouth open in the middle.
Yeah, I love these guys.
Yeah, let's do these guys.
All right, let's do it.
They're so funny.
Let's do like a caricature kind of thing. This is like a cartoony one. You don't have to. That's what I'm going to do.
So wait, are you going to try to like exaggerate it more?
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet on Procreate. Let's see what that looks like.
Okay, I think I might try. I don't know if it's going to work, but
that's the name of the game. Let's put ourselves on the line here.
Exactly.
I'm doing a whole new brush now. Let's see what happens. So
we're getting a lot of tech questions, and I'm sorry, guys, Jordan is not here to help us out. So I would just say, ask the questions in the chat, and maybe somebody else will know. Sorry. I love how this is like a tutorial, and we're like, we don't know.
Exactly.
Let's see. Vanessa says, I don't use digital art at all, but I have a question. If I get one of those, quote, digital tables that I can draw on my PC, is it the same as using Procreate? I mean, the process. I don't think so. What do you think, Cian?
What was it? One of the tables?
Yeah, digital tables that I can draw in my PC.
Maybe tablets?
I don't know. God, this is so not my territory.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so why are you doing this silhouette thing?
I like starting with the silhouette because I feel like if you do the traditional like when you draw from like the stick figure model, basically you do like a circle for the head and then you build it up like an action hero like that. You know what I'm talking about? The way that some art tutorials teach it. You don't? All right. When they teach you how to draw a person, they're like, here, draw an action hero, and it's like start with the circle for the head and for the skull, right. And then bring the face down like a mask, and then build out the shoulders and the body. If you do it like that, then you're losing a lot of the differences between the characters in the reference picture, basically. Mm-hmm. And so if you instead focus on the silhouette and then carve the figures out of it, I feel like they end up looking so different from each other. You can accentuate like the stretching and the differences. Did that make more sense?
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rip you off and I'm going to try it.
Try it. Come on. Yeah.
I just want to see, like, because I don't know. That's so not how I would start a drawing. It's
that's
so
how
different.
That's how I do it traditionally. So let's see if it translates.
Okay, we'll see what we end up with. Well,
But it makes sense,
because
right?
I mean, it does if you've done it before.
Do you trust me?
Well, we'll see. We'll see if you're actually giving good advice or if you're like leading me off. But see, I find this hard to do because I'm used to like moving across forms.
Right, right. Like doing character by character versus,
Yeah.
No, I
But
think it
is
helps
this
me.
better for groups?
I think it's better for groups. I think it makes them okay. Also, I do a lot of vignettes professionally, so so I feel like it helps me do vignettes that'll look good on the page as like a sticker. Because I'm the
Oh.
first thing I'm looking at is what the silhouette, what the final shape will be.
Oh, I see. So for you, that actually like really matters when you're
Yeah,
doing.
it really does.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense now because I don't do vignettes, so I don't know what you're talking about. Actually, I kind of like that because it
Yeah,
does get you to look at them as a group instead of just drawing them one by one, which I think is the
yeah.
temptation.
The temptation is to say, okay, three characters, that's three heads, circle, circle, circle. But if you look at them in the photo, they're so interesting that they're really carved and they're totally different shapes. So by doing the silhouette, you immediately are like working with completely different shapes for the heads.
I'm kind of starting to fall for this silhouette thing because it's something that I think Kat and Julie Ben Bassett, who did a recent draw along, and it was about they started with the silhouette and then went from there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
I'm
fun.
not sure if I learned this in class. I can't remember when I started doing it, but I definitely would highly recommend if you're ever doing vignette stuff where the shape of it is part of the presentation. It's very helpful.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I never thought about like that format. Are you doing like illustrations for that?
Illustrations for these gorillas?
For the no, the vignettes, is that like a illustration
Yeah.
gig or is that your stuff?
No, I would say that most of the professional work I do is definitely like more often do I need to do a vignette for like commercial work than I have to do like a finished piece with full platen all the way to the edges.
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
think it's more common that people need little graphics or stickers, and so they have to they have to have an interesting contour. Well, but something we did do in school that I thought was a fun thing to try is to do blind contour drawing. And if you do it enough, you get like freakishly good at it, where it doesn't feel like it should be possible.
Really?
You look at the reference picture and then you draw without looking. So you stare at the reference picture and trace it. And of course, the first time you do it, it's going to look like you did a dare, and it's just messy.
Right, right.
But if you do it enough and you get good at it, I feel like that's the best way to do figure drawings because you're really just copying the shapes and it also corrects a lot of anatomy problems because you're not translating, you're just copying, you know?
Right, right. I mean, I don't think I do it quite like that, but
Mhm.
I definitely don't look at my drawing much.
I'm gonna try it. I wanna see if I can do one like that on the iPad. Let's see. All right,
Okay,
covering
my
up.
silhouette kind of went to crap, Cian. Does that happen to you?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, because
Let me try a
I'm
blind
not.
contour one so I can, oh man, my iPad is like uh showing up on all of my screens. So
Oh, great. You guys tell me in the chat who here has done blind contour and do you
yeah,
like it or do you hate it? Because I know some people are like, ugh, I hate
yeah.
this.
It takes a lot of being forced to do it over and over again for class before you start to actually appreciate it.
Oh, these guys are hilarious, aren't they?
I know they're so funny. I love the faces. The three faces are so different. One thing I will say is that the biggest difference between doing on paper for me right now versus doing on the iPad uh, is that normally on paper I'll redraw the same shape over and over and over again until I get one that I'm like, yeah, I want to work with that one. And here it's like it's very defeating when you do that because you have to hide your entire layer.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That's
usually
right.
when I have the sketchbook, I'll do a bunch of shapes and they'll all be next to each other so I can see I like the shape from that one and I like that one. And I feel like I'm copying more from past attempts that I've done than I am from the picture.
So here's a question. I'm doing this line drawing right now, and I
Hmm.
keep doing this thing like, see, here's the thing. All the stuff that I normally do, it kind of goes out the window when I get onto Procreate because I'm like
Yeah.
not in my comfort zone. But what I usually do, like if I was doing a painting of this, I
Hmm.
probably would block in some big colors, like just flat
Oh,
shapes, not like line.
yeah.
So should I make another layer to do that?
Yeah, make another layer to do that. That sounds totally reasonable.
Okay, I'm gonna try that then.
I never realized how high up their ears are on their heads.
I know they're weird, aren't
They're
they?
weird.
We have a comment from Simple Triskel who says, I love blind contour. They're a mess, but they come out so interesting and loose. Yep.
Yeah. The funny thing though is if you're doing them so that you can have like this cool drawing that's totally it's got so much momentum and it's really like fresh because you're not looking at it when you're doing it. As you get better at it, you get worse at making cool looking blind contours. Does that make sense? Like
Oh,
as
you're
you
seriously?
yeah, as you get better at drawing something almost so that it starts to look like a normal drawing when you do a blind contour. And it's funny that people do blind contour to achieve a very specific kind of looseness. And then as you get tighter with blind contour, that looseness goes away. And you're like, oh no, no, it just looks like a drawing.
Yeah, that's kind of boring, isn't it?
A little bit. But it's useful for other things. It's worth practicing.
Oh, yeah, I know. But I sort of like how wonky everything comes out, you know?
So I wanted to ask when you have like students and you need to break them out of their tight drawing, if they have learned habits that are not helping them, what do you
Yeah.
put them through to get them out of that?
Uh, I make them draw with lithographic crayon because you can't erase it.
There you go. Yep.
And it drives the freshmen bats. They go insane. It's really evil.
Make them do it on live stream.
Oh dear. Well, what I do when I used to teach freshman drawing, I would make them draw with lithographic crayon for their first assignment, and I made them make the drawing 3 feet by 4 feet.
Mm-hmm. I
First,
remember having to
first
do that.
assignment.
Wow. Yeah, I was not in your class, but I remember I had some similar big pieces of paper, and then they would have us fold them so that we wouldn't treat them as precious objects.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they'll have us do big pieces of art that we're proud of, and then we develop them and develop them, and then we basically throw them away because it's like this was about the practice, not about the final piece.
Oh.
I don't
Actually,
think.
you know what that makes me think of is because I played oboe for years and years. I was in like the Brown Orchestra and I played in community orchestras and stuff like that. So
Oh,
I was pretty like I mean I was never going to go to music school, but I was like pretty good. And I used to go to this is so dorky. I used to go to oboe camp.
oboe camp.
Oboe camp. I know it's so dorky. But anyway, at oboe camp, there were
What
like
happened
all
at
these
oboe camp?
yeah, there are all these stories about like, oh, legendary oboe player John Mack, and oh, he used to do this to his students, and oh my god. And so one of the stories was this one oboe teacher who he'd make you make reeds, which takes forever. Reeds are a
Wow.
huge pain in the butt. And you're like trying to learn how to make them, right? And so
Yeah.
you would make these reeds, and then you would go to your lesson, and he would break them.
Oh, that's just, I was gonna say, oh, that's cruel because reeds run out super quickly. You have to change them really often, but that's so much worse.
It's so much work. And it's like when you get a read that's actually good, it's
Uh-huh.
like the best thing ever. I mean, I feel like I would just not bring them to my lesson, you know?
Oh. Okay, so I had a teacher, this was probably one of my most awesome RISD classes, but I had a teacher who had us building stuff. We were spending so much time building these really delicate wood objects, and at the end they would do like a bounce test. They would like boing boing, like try to throw it against
What?
something. Oh, it was
Oh my
so,
gosh.
yep.
What happened? Oh, I just lost my color for a second. Okay, here we go. These guys are really blue, aren't they?
They are very blue. They're shockingly blue.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pump up some of the saturation a little bit.
I've realized how much I don't. Usually, I'll start with a reference drawing, and then by the end of it, it'll turn into a completely different creature. So I usually start drawing an animal, and then by the end, it's like a cool monster design. So that might be what happens here.
See, I'm sort of jealous of that because I'm not good at character design, and like everybody in my team is so good at it, and I'm like, I have no imagination.
Character design is so weird because you're making a personality at the same time. It feels like you haven't made a character design until suddenly it has like a life of its own. You know what I mean?
Well, if there's anything I've learned from Jordan and Kat and the other people who do character design, it's that the story matters more than the
Mm-hmm.
character, like the look of the character.
Like supporting the story.
Well, I just feel like when I see people who want to do character design, all they think about is like, ooh, this would look cool. And I'm like, well, but why is their
Right.
hair like that? Right?
Right. Is it distracting from the points? Actually, I noticed this in the what is it, the Robin Hood movie, the animated one, uh,
Uh-huh.
the Disney Robin Hood. Yeah, fingers crossed that's all correct. They don't have the markings on their tails, the little white tips on the tails.
Oh, really?
And I gotta believe that it's because when you're animating, if you have to add another marking and it's the tail, and you have to like spend, what is that going to be like 8,000 man hours doing that?
Oh, what a pain.
I know. So it's like that's an instance where, probably a character designer doing it for a hobby would have totally decked out the tail. But then if you're making it for a movie, it's actually really distracting for the work and for the story.
Yeah, that's what Jordan told me. He said that when he designs characters, he tries not to put like a logo on a t-shirt because it's like, oh, I have to draw
Right.
that logo every time.
Yeah, it's okay. So usually what I do when I'm designing characters for animations, I will draw like a character that I think is nice and simple, and then I'll force myself to redesign it in the simplest possible form that still has the essence of the same character, and then animate that one. And I'm always grateful that I didn't start with the first one.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, oh, that blue is a little bit out of control. I'm trying to figure out maybe a lighter blue. Oh, that's still a little bit too. Let me see. Okay, wow, we have a lot of comments in here. Um, Slice Keeper is saying the new art market requires digital skills. Drawing abilities are rare within this market, so it's a huge opportunity to make a lot of money and possibly build a lot of collectors. It's so overwhelming. Seeing when you're at art school, you're like, oh, there's so much competition. There's so
Mhm,
many talented people. And then you
mhm.
get out, you're like, oh my God, there's 5 million talented people.
Yeah, that's fun.
I know. It's very alarming, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think one thing that I have heard though is like, I think the classic art school story from what the last generation was that like you show up to art school thinking that you're the best art kid in high school, and then you show up and you're like, oh no, everybody's like this. But I think it's interesting that now because we already had access to the internet before showing up to art school, I think a lot of people in my grade were already really aware what the range felt like.
Oh, really?
I think so. I don't think there was as
That's
much
so
of an identity crisis. You know what I mean? There was still a lot of like, okay, they're in my class now. We're all in the same room, but um, I feel like that whole identity crisis that people tell stories about, I don't think that was as true because we all had seen online like, oh, that person's my age and they're making that. You know?
that's such a generational difference because
Yeah.
there was no internet when I was going to art school, and so we had no idea who anybody was at all, like not even close.
And you'd never seen the masters. You never like,
Nothing.
wow.
I mean, you know how now you can find out a professor or a peer's whole life
Yeah,
on
it's true. Don't try
before
that
you meet
on.
them. And now, like when I was a student, it was like, oh, Jay Smith is my teacher. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Wow. That's wild.
I know, isn't it? Like you just have these like mystery teachers that you have.
I will say that I did have one class. This was before RISD, so I'm obviously not naming names, but one class where my teacher was so sweet and genuine and very like they felt very like normal. And I never would have expected, but after I graduated their class, like a year later, I was like, oh, I just stumbled upon this person online. What does their art look like? I never saw this
Uh-huh.
teacher's art. And it was crazy. Like
What?
it was
Why was it
very it was very erotic kind of work. I
no.
never in a million years would have expected that from them.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So now I expect it from everybody.
Well, it is interesting. You can get somebody who is a really good teacher, but sometimes you don't like their art that much, you know?
It's true. I think that's like the head and the hand thing. Do you know about that? Like
No, what is that?
the head and the hand. It's like you further your education and what your taste in art, or your you've seen more art history, so you have a lot of exposure. So you're learning how to crit. So your eye is really good at just seeing a piece and knowing exactly what your opinions are about it, what you would change, what you do differently. And then you go down to actually draw, and you can't because you're so paralyzed, because your eye is like miles ahead of your ability to actually do it.
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah, yeah.
I've had conversations with teachers who spend every day in the classroom developing their eye, so their ability to critique, and then they sit down to actually do their own practice, and they can't because they're so paralyzed by that.
I also think that being a good artist and being a good teacher, they're totally separate skills. Like, just because you're a good teacher, it doesn't make you a good artist, and vice versa.
So do you feel like there were times in your life when one was way ahead of the other, like, and you wanted to catch up or something?
Oh, I always felt I'm a better teacher than an artist, always.
Really?
I don't know, teaching just comes a lot more easily to me. Like, I feel very much like I was a very late bloomer as an artist.
That's crazy. I never would have thought that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I look at the stuff that students are doing in my class. I'm like, I was not doing that. I'm like, I was
Right.
not even close.
Wow, that's so interesting. I never would have thought about that. A teacher like tracking the timeline for their students. Yeah.
Well, it's just a little alarming when you sort of have to accept it because you start getting students who are so freaking good. And you're
Wow.
just like, okay, yep.
You're like, when I grow up, I want to be like that.
Oh, I've had students who could run circles around me in terms of their
Wow.
drawing skill. I mean, if you teach at a place like RISD, you're going to get that.
Okay, and what age do you think that students get really good at critique, about like basically if they were going to be a teacher, when do you think they develop that skill?
Well, do you mean critiquing or leading a critique? Because those are sort of two different things.
That makes sense. Do people get good at leading critique in art school, do you think?
Students or teachers?
Students.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have students who could teach the freaking class for me. So, like,
Awesome.
yeah, you can definitely get
So
people like that.
so it's all over the place as far as how fast people pick that up, what they throw themselves into, probably.
Well, a lot of it's effort. Some people don't even try. So it's like, how are you going to get better if you don't even try?
That's the moral of the story of
Exactly.
today.
Let's see. M is saying the idea of marketing art is daunting. I'm in art school and I've struggled with figures, but I draw these characters in my own unique way. I do not feel intimidated by my fellow art students. That's awesome.
That's
That's great.
awesome. What's the problem?
What?
What's the problem there? That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, it says I struggle with figures. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think marketing is really hard. Like, what's your take on? Because there's the artwork, like you make the artwork, but there's also like, oh, how do you get it out there? Like, what have you done,
Yeah.
Cian?
Okay, so I think I said this on the last stream that I was really surprised at how much more time I spend doing emails as a freelance artist than I do actually drawing. Um, just sitting there and reaching out, and honestly, I think they don't really tell you that much about running like an Instagram account or a Twitter. That's where I get most of my work is just through social media, and they didn't really teach us how to run a business through social media in art school.
No,
Um,
they don't.
yeah, and I think they'll probably catch up and start doing that at some point. But marketing is terrifying, and I think at art school they really had us convinced, or had me convinced, that it was going to be a lot of emailing, uh, art directors directly.
Hmm.
And I think I've been fine just doing it through social media, so I haven't actually had to send emails to heads of corporations. And I was super. They prepared us to do that, so that was one surprise.
Well, you know what I've seen is that it's easier to get in touch with people on social media than through an email.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I've only tried a couple times. I mean, I've only been graduated for so long, but uh, maybe why do you think that is? Do you think people are just less awkward when it's a little more casual?
I think it's probably because people are just so overwhelmed by email. If
Yeah,
you're somebody who has any degree of like responsibility, the number of emails you get is just obscene.
that makes sense. No, actually, we had a career fair where we went around to the different tables, and I had one table tell me, "Don't send us email because it will literally get thrown in the trash. They'll never see it." And then I went to the next table, and they said, "Don't send us physical mail because it will get thrown in the trash. We'll never see it." So you can never know what the person's more likely to see.
That's what I mean. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are just like Twitter, for example, the journalists who are on
Mm.
Twitter. I had I think it was a New York Times reporter who I'd been like stalking for a really long time and never got a reply. And then on Twitter, it was
Mm.
like, boom, in 5 minutes, I had a reply. I'm like, what?
Wow.
What's going on?
That's awesome.
It is.
Yep, that makes perfect sense. And I think the other thing is you can see which kinds of people out there that you want to reach out to are more likely to respond on social media because they'll be active on social media. So if someone has a page and they're posting every day, they're almost certainly gonna see what you send them.
And it does help when you say things like, I read this article you wrote, and they go,
Mhm.
oh, let me tell you about
Yep.
my article.
Yeah, I think it's also it just always try it. If you want to reach out to someone, just try somehow, and there's not a problem with doing that if you're polite.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see. B Dog Boo says, I love critique, but I was a blunt person to begin with, so it kind of goes with my personality.
Oh no.
I feel you. I'm the same way. Like the
Yep.
joke with my husband is that he never has to wonder what I'm thinking.
There you go. Yeah, I think it's funny because I went to art school thinking like, okay, I don't want to get all pretentious and then come back and not even know how to speak the same language as, you know, non-art people.
Right,
And
right.
then right when we graduated from art school, we come back from summer break and we're like critiquing, the wall colors in buildings
I
that we're
know.
sitting in. It's like you can't stop when you get into it. You can't stop.
You know what I do? Lauren's one of the teaching artists here. So we have there's a homemade ice cream place. Well, this is back when I was living in
Ooh.
Boston, so not anymore. But we used to go there after we shot tutorials at my house. And first of all, we always got Bailey's ice cream. Have you ever had Bailey's ice cream?
No, I haven't.
It's so good. Like, I'm not really that into alcohol, but oh my God, Bailey's ice cream. Tell me in the chat, have you guys had Bailey's ice cream? You're missing out if you've never had it before.
Wow, I gotta go. I gotta leave right now and go have Bailey's ice cream.
Oh, it's so good. So anyway, we would go and we'd have Bailey's ice cream. And you know how like sometimes they have art shows at like cafes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And so they always had like some art show going on. And so
Hmm.
Lauren and I would sit there and we'd be like, yeah, I really think the colors should be more saturated here. And why didn't they consider the compositional element? Like we could not stop. It
You
was so
can't
ridiculous.
stop.
Can't do it.
Oh, I love your gorilla. I just saw in the my tiny version of the stream. I love
Oh
how blue they
yeah.
are. It's perfect.
Well, they're so different from each other, aren't
They
they?
really are.
So I'm looking at yours and it's like your group is so different than mine. Like it feels more like a sculpture, doesn't it?
Like a rock, I feel like I am carving just because of the brushes here. I was looking for a square edged brush because I think that would be more like the colored pencils when they get really used. And all of
Yeah.
these have a triangle end, like they get really pointy, so that's definitely affecting the spirit of the character.
Well, I mean, do you like that?
I don't know. I don't know, Clara.
Because sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it like gets you to draw in a way you ordinarily wouldn't draw, you know?
Absolutely, just like what is it, the lino pencil, the
The lithographic crayon, yeah.
lithographic crayon. That's right.
Yeah. Those
Yeah,
are really
I think it's always good to like try doing something you're really, really used to, but switch one variable, you know?
Yeah, because sometimes it's overwhelming. Like if you try to do 18 new things all at once, it's like, oh my
Yes.
God,
And
what am
that's
I
kind of what
doing?
freshman year felt like. It was everything was new, and so you don't really find your groove, or I didn't until like sophomore year, and then you're like, oh, I do have a medium that I actually like working with.
It
I have
takes time, don't you think?
so long, yeah. So if you don't have that, like that's actually kind of a good thing if you're, still in that searching mode.
All right, let's see what people are saying in the chat. 10,000 Crows says, yes, I want to run away from civilization and live in a tree and eat bananas all day. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and get some ice cream. It has been a very busy month. That sounds
For
really, really
sure.
nice.
And Elizabeth is saying, thinking about how much time is spent emailing and business activities brought to mind articles I've read about David Hockney in France on lockdown. He has 2 assistants, only 2. Oh, cry me a river, David Hockney. Oh gosh, people are so silly.
Oh man, I want an assistant. That sounds awesome. What would what would their job mostly be? Would be email?
They would probably fix the YouTube video descriptions for me. So
Yep,
boring.
absolutely.
Have you ever, okay, I'm not joking here. Have you ever
Mhm.
spent like 2 hours renaming files?
Oh, please, absolutely. I mean, compiling animation frames is probably I mean, I'll pay my friends to do that for me, and I do.
What do you mean compile? I don't know anything about this
Uh,
stuff.
so so since I do my animation traditionally, I will have them all in the same sheet, and then I'll scan the sheet, and it's one big piece of paper, and then I will put it into Procreate and cut them out, and then line them up where they're supposed to be in the animation. Does that make sense?
That sounds really tedious.
It is very tedious. Now, I will say it's the least tedious of all the methods that I've tried, so I'm really happy that I found it because the old thing was way more tedious. But
Right.
yeah, I spent a lot of time naming files and wishing that there were more functions for renaming files in, certain ways.
Well, it's like when you start writing stuff like version 3 final, version 3 final, version 3 final. This is the one, you know? Like,
Absolutely.
oh God, it's so bad. Yeah, see, like that's the stuff you never realize, like, oh my God, you are
Yeah.
gonna do really boring stuff like that.
Yep, it's gonna be, but honestly, I feel like it's also very zen. So I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee, and I sit down and just do my email stuff. And then it's nice because I have fully recharged when it comes to actually making the art. So I'm not fully complaining. I think it's also kind of fun.
Well, I was gonna say that some days when when you just like don't want to use your brain.
Yeah, you don't want to use your art brain.
I'm just
That's
gonna
what I
rename
think.
files for a few hours.
You want to be in a tree and eat bananas. That's what you should be able to do.
Why did I not figure that out sooner?
Can I ask what age do you feel like you got things together in your life? Like when did your life feel like you figured things out?
Never.
Great.
Well, okay, so there's different versions of having your life together. Have you
Yeah.
ever heard there's a saying that you cannot have all 3, which is good
Oh,
living
yeah.
situation, good job, and good relationship.
Yep. Not even David
So
Hockney.
most people have like, most people have like 1 if they're lucky. And then some people have 2. And people who say they have 3, I swear they're lying.
That's when they have 3 assistants. That's the magic number.
Exactly. So you have to. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have to date anymore. It's great. I love not dating. But like, I'm lucky I have a house and my job, I'm working on it because I need art prof to be a little more stable. But
You have an Apple Pencil, is that right?
I do have an Apple Pencil, so maybe my whole life is fine.
Sounds like it to me. Well, that's exciting. I feel like I've heard another phrase that kind of goes with that, which is like, you can't You can't wake up and do this. If you know when you wake up what you're going to do that day, then you're not living or something like that.
Really?
If you wake up and you know exactly what your day is going to look like, then you're not really living. And I don't know. I do think that speaks to me because it's like, yeah, if you can plan out your whole day and you already know what it's going to feel like to do it, then do something else, you know?
Wow, that's my life. I'm such a planner. Like I just can't, like I have lists and I have everything. So I guess I don't know. I guess I don't really work with that.
That works too. No, I feel like I like it because I am a list person, so it helps me remember that I don't have to feel bad for not having a to-do list that day. Like that's an adventure then.
Oh, that's good. I mean, if you can see it that way.
Yeah, it's my beacon.
You know what? Let's do another one.
Yeah,
I
let's do
think we
it.
have time for one more. What do you want to do the orangutans because it's a totally different color?
Oh yeah, wait, look at all the layers that I've built up. I didn't even do that consciously. That completely just happened without me meaning to. I made
Wait,
8 layers by
why do
accident.
so many layers?
I don't know. I don't know when that happened. I'll rewatch the video and watch myself do it. It's like phantom layer creation. Okay, which one are we
I only
doing?
have one layer.
Did my iPad disconnect?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it did. See if you
Oh
can.
no.
Oh, you're back there.
I'm
Is
back.
it your
Well,
desktop?
wait, go to full screen. I'm gonna troubleshoot.
Okay. I'll keep them entertained while you do
Awesome.
that. I think your camera is now on your desktop.
Can you full screen it? I'm gonna fix it.
Hang on a second. Let me see. I'm gonna
I
go
know
to
how.
the screen for a second, you guys. You just got to look at me and seeing for a little bit.
Hello.
Um,
I'm doing tech support for myself.
yeah. So is your iPad on your desktop?
Oh, it's okay. I'm figuring it out. I am getting it back. I think my QuickTime just crashed.
Okay, I'm gonna read some of the comments. 10,000 Crows says adulting is a combination of existential terror, filling out paperwork, and eating ice cream in the bathtub. That seems pretty accurate, I would
I want to
say.
eat ice cream in the bathtub. Okay, my iPad's back on now. You can turn it back on.
Okay, hang on a second. I think why is that not showing up? Hang on one second. Um, hang on. Hang on. Technical stuff. Oh, you didn't you need to share your screen, Cian.
Oh, did that crash?
Yeah,
My,
that I think your screen didn't stop the share.
let me do it.
Talk
Technical.
amongst yourselves.
Eyes on your own paper. Okay, is that
Yeah.
working now?
Hang on a second. Okay, now I'm gonna add you to the screen.
Oh, wait. How about now?
Yes.
Full
Okay, hang
screen,
on a
and we're
second.
back.
Yep, there you are. You're back.
Woohoo! Successful.
Okay, let me see. Let's put you back. Oh, I gotta maximize OBS. All right. Yay, you're back. See,
I'm
that
back.
wasn't bad.
Awesome. See, that wasn't so bad.
So Rachel is asking, oh, sorry, I missed this. I'll get to your comment in a minute, Inji. Rachel says, is it pronounced Cian or Sean? You need to explain. You got a good name story, Cian.
You want the name story?
Yes, I want the name story.
Okay, so first of all, it rhymes with Ian. It's pronounced Cian. The name Ian. I taught kindergartners, and they were really on the young side, and I was nervous that they wouldn't get the pronunciation because Cian is a little hard. They were kind of like shortening words and stuff. So I just said, okay, you guys can call me Sean. And so I was teacher Sean for them, and then I thought that would be the simplest form, but they started calling me teacher John. So the problem is then the other teachers, because I was only there for after school, so they would quickly running in and out. They'd be like, "Okay, thanks, John." And I was like, it's fine, it's fine." But now, if I'm moving on from that, talking to like other employers and stuff, and my references, I have to wonder if they're gonna like call me John and like the recommendation, phone call and stuff like that. So life lesson learned, if you have a weirdly pronounced name, just make the kindergartners learn how to pronounce it. That's the best way to solve that problem.
Were they not able to pronounce Cian? Like, was that an issue?
Honestly, I just went in assuming that they wouldn't, and I'm sure that they probably totally would have. That was just me thinking.
Well, because my daughter had a teacher named Cy Firth. And
Cypherth.
Cypherth, she couldn't say it, so she'd call her Cypherth.
Yeah, like kids do that all the time, so I thought I'd make it easy for them, but
Nope.
now I respond to John too, so it's Cian or John.
That's really confusing.
Great.
Oh, dear.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of international students,
Hmm.
oftentimes they'll pick an American name when they study
Right.
here because it's just like, oh man, dealing with trying to teach people how to say a name that's not super familiar, you
It's
get tired of
distracting.
it, you know?
Yep. Yeah, and you kind of come up with like mnemonics to help people understand real quick. But I
Oh,
like it because in
that's
a way
right.
it's
If you say Ian, that really helps.
yeah, see, and that's the third one I came up with. I tried other ones too, but no, people get it now. It's pretty quick. But I know like in class, it's actually kind of a cool. I don't know, when you have to tell someone how to pronounce your name, there is a little bit more meeting there. If someone's meeting you and like shaking your hand, then you have like a little bit more of a chance to connect with them in a way.
That's true.
Like that really quick introductory problem solving.
Well, so the issue with doing these live streams is that I can't ask people how to say their name, and so I just like
Yeah.
mangle everybody's name in the
Every
chat.
day is like the first day of roll call.
It is, and it makes me feel bad because I know it's like very important to people to
It's
be
true.
addressed the right way.
Yeah, it's true. Do people mispronounce your name ever? I know it's more common.
Oh, it's my last name. That's the problem.
What do you get? What do people call it? Say it.
Liu. Let's see. I don't know. They just like cannot like it's but technically in Chinese it's Liu, but
Really?
nobody can say that. So I'm like, it's Liu,
Wait,
right?
teach me how to say it. How do you say it?
Liu.
Leo, just like that?
Kind of it's a little bit faster.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that's more true to how you see the name being pronounced for yourself, or do you feel like for you it's just Lou?
It's just Liu. I mean, I lived in America pretty much my whole life, so I'm not around Asian people, like Chinese speaking people that much.
That
Not
makes
really.
sense.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm having so much fun with these orangutan
I
figures.
love these orangutans.
Oh man, they're
Do you
so
like my pile
love
of
the bread.
orangutan flesh that I've drawn?
Oh, they are so weird. Yeah, that does look like a pile of flesh.
Honestly, this feels way more like my art style than any of the other drawings that we've made today.
Oh, really? How would you define your art style?
Ooh, okay. I feel like I feel like my art is mostly for like storytelling purposes. Most of the characters that I draw, I put all the focus towards the features that will be doing the storytelling, so like the hands and the face. So I think when I'm
Oh,
drawing from references and it feels like mine, that usually means that I've eliminated all the detail except for the hands and the face. So I like this because everything's simplified in a way where if I draw the faces on, it's going to be like, bam, that's where the focus goes.
is that why you like monkeys so much?
I do, and actually, gorillas are harder for me because they're a lot more. There's not a lot of value contrast. But
So,
with these
what's your
guys,
favorite monkey to draw?
okay, baby langur monkeys. Have you seen them?
No.
Okay, baby langur monkeys are like traffic cone orange. They are bright, bright orange, and then their parents are dark gray, and they're so cute because you've got like this troop of gray monkeys, and then one embarrassingly bright orange monkey baby. Please
Oh,
Google baby langur monkeys. Audience,
baby,
not you.
baby langur monkeys. Got it, guys?
Yep.
Somebody Google and report back.
Report back that they're cute.
Yes. I don't think that's going to be hard.
They're so cute. So yeah, those were the ones that I saw where I was like, okay, I love monkeys now. They converted me.
Seeing Seven Angelic says orangutan mountain.
Yes.
That's awesome.
These guys are interesting because I realized their foreheads are dark and their mouths are light. I didn't know that.
Oh, well, but see, isn't the top one like balding?
Oh yeah, that's a little embarrassing. Actually, that looks more like a quarantine haircut.
I don't know. He looks like he's got like a bowl cut or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Okay, I just did my quarantine haircut for
Awesome.
myself.
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, I got so frustrated, I just shaved half my head. I was like, okay.
Oh my god, it looks so good though. So you did that to yourself?
Well, you know what it is? It's like I didn't shave my head or dye my hair in art school, so I'm doing all of
Hmm.
it now.
Yeah, you gotta have a wacky haircut at some point in your life, and then you love it. I feel like I didn't actually want to buzz my hair until quarantine, and now I'm like, oh, this is awesome. It takes 4 seconds to dry.
And it feels so good, the peach
It
fuzz.
it's awesome.
I
Yep.
love it. Let's see. Ingy is saying langurs look like newborns. And Seven Angelic says, yes, I can confirm those monkeys are freaking adorable.
Aren't they so cute? I'm obsessed with them. So that's the main character in all my stuff.
And seeing it looks like not only do we have Orangutan Mountain, but Soo Hyun says Cheeto Fluff Ball.
This looks like a pile of what's that?
And Ingy says Cheese Mountain.
Cheese Mountain. Okay.
This is great. I love that. And oh shoot, I was gonna go up to that past comment that I totally forgot about. Let me see if I can
Oh
find
no.
it. I believe it was from Ingy, and I totally pulled the absent-minded professor thing. Oh, here it is. Ingy is saying, are you still critiquing work? Yes, we are. So there are two opportunities to get a free critique at Art Prof. The first one is you can submit a single artwork, and that link is in the video description below. Or you can submit a portfolio of pieces, about 10 artworks, and we can do that as well. So all those links are in the video description below. So just go down there and you can find it. Or if you want to join us in the Discord layer, I can definitely send you the link there. Christiana says, quarantine hair is no joke. Oh, this is really good. Shaim says, this is where the leftover mac and cheese went.
Oh my god.
Nice.
It's my process.
What your art was really about, Cian.
Yeah, I was inspired subliminally.
Yes.
This is like my first time drawing while people are watching me draw. Obviously, except for in class. This is so funny.
Is it making you nervous?
I'm so nervous. No,
no.
I feel much better. I feel warmed up now, but
it takes time, doesn't it?
It does. This is definitely a new experience.
But remember, you don't have to deliver anything to a client.
That's right. None of y'all are paying me, so
this well, is, I am, but they aren't.
That's true. And we're gonna have this big crit at the end. So this
exactly, you're gonna get torn to shreds. Okay. I'm having fun with these oranges.
I love these orangutans. I guess I just like orange monkeys, whatever size and shape they are. If they're orange, I'm happy.
What is so great about orange?
It's my favorite color. Did I mention that?
No, you never told me that.
That's just totally a coincidence, but I love the color. Honestly, if you look, I don't have it here, but if you look at my watercolor palette, the orange is gone and all the other colors are still there.
Oh, really? You're kidding?
No, seriously, it's actually quite annoying because you can't just get the well. If you can get the well by itself, someone tell me, because I would totally do that. But as far as I know, you have to just buy a new watercolor palette when you run out of orange.
What if you can just buy like a tube of it? Can't you do that?
I don't do tube watercolor. Would you recommend that? Should I do that? No, I just use the Angora palette.
Oh, so you just use the cakes?
The cakes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm totally a tube person.
Really? What's the difference?
Yes. Well, I just like it when, you know how with a tube watercolor you can like squirt out a blob?
Yeah.
Sometimes I like the watercolor to be like loose and juicy because you just get like a bigger blob of paint in your brush.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do use gouache, and I feel like that's where I need it to be. What did you say? Loose and juicy? Yep.
Yeah, so loose and juicy.
Loose and juicy. Yep.
I feel like that's so unusual for orange to be your favorite color, because a lot of people don't like orange.
What's your favorite color? What's your mainstream favorite color?
Oh, red for sure.
You like red? Cool. I
Yes, I
feel like
love
that's
red.
not super mainstream. I've only heard people liking blue and purple and green and stuff.
Oh, everybody likes blue. Blue is so boring.
A little bit.
I know I'm going to
Red.
get crap about that in the chat now.
You know, I don't think in the past that my favorite color would have been dictated by what color I like actually drawing with. But now I feel like drawing is so like it's just what I do every day. So I'm super swayed by what color I think looks good on the
And it's
paper.
going to be orange, right?
And it's got to be orange. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, this is a good idea, Cian.
Hmm.
Seven Angelic says, Cian, just get a tube and put it in the cake area, let it dry, and bam, you have a new cake.
That's so smart.
That's awesome.
That's so smart. Who said that? I have to thank them personally.
Seven Angelic said
Seven
that.
Angelic, thank you.
That's brilliant.
I'm gonna do that and then I'm gonna report back on here and tell everybody that it worked.
Whoa. Karen says, I love the monkeys we saw on the train on our way to Uti. Best train journey ever.
Ooh,
Cool.
I
Oh,
want
we
to see the
have a
monkey.
question for you, Cian.
Yes,
Rosen is saying, what brush is Cian using? It has a nice texture.
it does. Okay, I just found this one. It's called Chalk. Here it is.
Oh,
I think you find it in, let me see if I can look for it. Is it in sketching? No. Painting? No. All right, people are gonna have to find it on their own, but it's
what's
in
it
there
called
somewhere.
again? Chalk?
It's called Chalk.
Cool.
Yep, it's awesome. I like it because it can go really thick to really thin. So I don't know what it's like with the Apple Pencil, but even with my finger, it has a good range.
That's cool. Always looking for. Wait, it's called chalk. Let me try it.
Yeah.
Uh,
And if you find it, tell me where it was.
is it under? No, it's not painting. It's called chalk.
I kind of thought it would be under charcoals or something.
Let me see. I don't think it's. Maybe it's under airbrush. No, I don't know. See, honestly, most of these brushes I don't like.
Yeah, I think so too. You need something that mimics, well, because you and I are traditional painters, like we need something that mimics traditional. And I think some of these are probably really good at doing what they do. Oh, like Victorian. What?
Why? What's Victorian? That's a dumb name.
I think it's fitting. Look at that.
Ugh, that's hideous.
Yeah, we need more brushes that really feel like chalk because we're already squeamish about the digital. So
Well, why isn't there one called like Conte crayon?
yeah,
Or maybe there isn't. I just don't know. I have no idea.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty specific.
And Maria is saying, am I the only one seeing mountains magically transformed into animals and starting to move?
What?
I guess that's what you're making.
They're coming to life. I'm so glad.
C. Cantrell is saying, I think this is for you, Cian. Have you
Mhm.
seen the crested black macaques? I don't know how to say that.
I think I have. Are they the ones with like they look like skunk monkey palettes? They look like skunks a little bit.
What?
Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I saw those in person actually at a zoo.
You did?
A very nice zoo, friendly to the animals zoo.
You know what? I saw once. I think I was at my husband's work or something, and we were like leaving, and it was late. And you know what I saw in the parking lot? This is in like Boston. It's not even close to anything tropical or whatever. I saw a family of skunks.
Ah, a family with the babies?
Yes, there was like two big ones and like five little skunks. They were so cute. Oh my god.
That makes me so happy. Apparently they don't spray as readily. I mean, I'm sure if they're with their babies then they might, but I always thought that they were like one step away from doing it, but you can actually um you can watch them and not worry about being sprayed too much from afar.
Oh really?
That's what I've heard, but I don't know if my information is from a credible source or if they just want me to get sprayed.
Well, it's just people have told me that like if you get sprayed, it's actually like really, really bad. Like it's hard to get rid of it.
I would not know what I would do if I was sprayed.
It would be bad.
But the babies are cute, so gotta
They
love
are
stunts.
crazy cute. You know what it was? It wasn't just that like their bodies were cute. It was like the way that they bounced up and down. Like it was definitely a
Oh,
thing.
and
You know what
don't
I
they
mean?
kind of wobble? Like they, you know?
Yeah, like they don't walk very well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes. Yep. That's just like me after I've been drawing for 6 hours and then try to stand up.
oh dear, I can't do that. You really have that stamina still?
It's more like once I get in, I forget that I forget to do my stretch breaks.
I do that too. You know what I do? This is very weird. Maybe this is TMI for you guys, but I like forget to pee.
Yeah.
Like I'm too busy. I'm like so wrapped up into it, you know?
Yep. I feel like the worst is if I'm like playing a video game for too long and then I like lose the feeling in my fingers, but I don't notice because I can still play, and that's probably the worst, I guess.
See, I don't play video games, so now you have to confess what you're playing right now.
Ah, Minecraft.
Ah, you're the Minecraft generation.
Yeah, it's Minecraft. It's always Minecraft.
All
And
I
it's
know is I just hear because my kids play Minecraft. They're always
uh-huh.
like, "I spawned. Why didn't you spawn with?" I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Honestly, I will play Minecraft with my dad and my brother, and it's the awesomest thing. And yep. No, we deck out the spawn point. We make it really nice. We put a city there.
Oh my gosh. Or they're like, somebody killed all the sausages and da. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You know, I don't know what they're talking about with that one either. That's news to me, unless there was a new update and there's sausages now.
I don't know. I mean, they play so many games that I get confused because I'm not a game person. Not at
I
all.
haven't had that much time for games quite of late, but no, I'm excited. I feel like I'm going to take a break for the holidays, and who knows, maybe I'll play some Minecraft.
Let's see. Emma says, same Cian. My brother got me into it this summer.
It's awesome for any age group. It will always be an awesome game.
Yeah, it looks like B Dog Booze is also into Minecraft.
Maybe if we promote it enough, then Clara will get into Minecraft and open like an art prof server.
Oh dear.
You gotta stay hip,
Oh,
Clara. You gotta stay with the age and the age of Minecraft.
I don't need to be that hip, Cian.
Is Minecraft even hip anymore? Is that even at all cool at all?
Well, I
I think
don't
it's
know. I think if your generation is playing it, it probably still is.
I think it's Fortnite now, and I've never even seen Fortnite.
Oh no, Fortnite. Or I thought it was Among Us. I thought that was the new.
Oh, yeah, you're right. All right.
All right, you guys. Remember, you can go down to the video description below and you can see all of Cian's links, Instagram, Patreon, and Cian's website. Cian does a lot of cool things on Patreon. Tell everybody really quickly the videos that you post for your Patreon people.
So this is not my normal method of making art. I'm on Patreon. I make videos about exactly how I make the animations that I make, and I do it for dirt cheap. So if you don't have a budget but you want to make professional animations, then follow me on Patreon and you can see how that is done.
Awesome. And also Instagram and website, really fun. And I would love for you guys to join me in the Discord. I'm going to be in the Draw Alongs channel. The Discord link is in the video description below. And I hope you guys drew Cheese Mountain because I would love to see what that looks like. And subscribe to our channel and join the Art Prof family. Thank you so much to our top Patreon supporters who make it possible for us to keep Art Prof 100% free and accessible to everybody. And thank you to everybody for hanging out with us in the chat and making your comments and asking your questions. We really appreciate it. Everybody, thank you so much for watching.